So with Mega Evolutions literally right around the corner, especially in America, you've got about 11 to 12 days. I've seen some people actually opening it already. Obviously Europe are going to have it a couple of weeks later. But the question is, should you be opening it? Should you just leave out on the set? Should you invest in the set? Now, we're going to run through all the possibilities of what the best sort of plan there is for Mega Evolution, because it is the brand new set of this era. We are going into ME01. It is going to be an interesting time in this Mega era, and whether it lasts a year, or two, if it's the same as a Scarlet and Violet or a Sword and Shield, or is it going to be a more of a special sort of set? Is it going to be like a 5-6 set max? We don't know the full ins and outs. We just know that there's about 4 or 5 sets that have been trademarked. We obviously know Mega Evolution, Phantasmal Flames, and then we know there's a Greninja one coming, there's going to be a Rayquaza one coming, so it's interesting to see where we can kind of go with these Mega Evolutions. So in terms of Mega Evolution in itself, you want to normally have a look at the Japanese counterpart. Now we have got 2 different ones from Mega Brave and also Mega Symphonia. Now obviously with these we can see roughly what's coming in the Mega Evolution set. We have got a full video on the actual set released, or at least a full set that has been lined up. Now, if we go to the high to low, naturally the 2 highest ones in this set are going to be the 2 gold types. We've got the gold Mega Lucario and the gold Mega Gardevoir. Now, obviously with Japanese sets, these special art trainers always fetch a pretty price. In English, not as much. Now they still will be expensive. It's a stunning card. It works very well if you are a trainer collector, but naturally we're going to see the SARs pump a little bit more into price. We have obviously got the Lucario and Venusaur that I believe is going to be the Chase SAR. It's most definitely one of the more favoured ones. We then have Mega Venusaur as probably second or third behind maybe Gardevoir, or maybe just ahead of it. We then have the Mega Kangaskhan that would be next, and finally the Mega Absol. So in terms of the set itself, price-wise in Japanese is pretty decent. We've got them pretty low end, like there's nothing too crazy in itself. It's very much a manageable set. You can kind of see already some of the illustrations. It's been out close-ish to a month. We got it in August, but naturally Japanese sets always come out a little bit earlier and normally a little bit cheaper. Now obviously if we went from this and we go into Mega Symphonia as well, this is all going to be in one. So if you've never collected Pokemon or you've never seen Japanese sets, normally on some of the sets, not every single one, you will have potentially 2 that go together. So Mega Brave, Mega Symphonia would be put together to make Mega Evolution. So it does work out pretty well, but as you can see from this set, you've obviously got the Gardevoir, you've got the Mega in the SAR, and the Gold. You've also got Mega Latios, in fact, so that could be, I would say, you'd go Lucario, you'd go Venusaur, I'd then possibly say Gardevoir. Gardevoir and obviously Venusaur could be swapped, but it's an interesting one to see what will actually be popped more. I'd then say Venusaur, Latios, Kangaskhan, and then obviously Absol. And then, like I say, you've still got plenty of kind of different sides you've got going on with the illustrations. Now, in terms of the set cost at the moment, we've got 635 for Mega Symphonia, according to the Collector's app. And then you've got 802 coming for Mega Brave. Now, obviously with this, the big chunk of both of them, like what we're looking at 1.4, you think that nearly, possibly just over 800 is coming from Mega Gardevoir and Mega Lucario Gold. So that is going to be the chase card amongst everything. So where do you stand when it comes to the English? I do think sealed product is always going to be fantastic. We can look at any set that has gone in the past couple of months. Sealed product is hard to get. Now, that doesn't mean it's always going to be up. Like, for instance, because we've now got Mega Evolutions with a booster box, Black and White didn't have one, you can kind of see what's happening with this. If you look over the time, we kind of go for like a year date. We started major. It did come down a little bit, and now we're back up again. It's just that point where trying to find anywhere that will give you a booster box at this point is very tricky. It's not easy as you think. You go to your local shops without necessarily going over odds on price or potentially finding a random shop that's willing to give you the whole thing. You go to a Smith's, you go to a normal LGS, they normally will crack these into singular packs and give you out maybe a 5 max. So realistically, you're not going to be able to buy the full box there and then. So that's going to be a very hard product to find, hence why the price is exponentially going up. And also then you can see the same for everything else. You've got ETBs that are a little bit easier to come by, but they're not necessarily too crazy. But naturally you're always going to find it harder and harder to be able to get this product sealed and naturally just holding on to it as such, really. Now, when you do look at these sets, like for instance, if we go for like a Destined Rivals, we have some nice cards, and naturally prices will always come down and up. We see obviously the Team Rocket's Mewtwo, it's holding its value pretty well. Now obviously that's not to say that it's never been down before. We definitely can see over the year graph, it was at an all-time high and it came down $40 or $50 and now it's going back up again. So it's not that every single card is destined to go to the moon and then drop right back down, but you can find certain patterns across the way. Destined Rivals seems to be a set that most definitely is going back on the rise. It's not necessarily easy to find, and the pull rates were decent but not crazy. Like we look at the Misty Psyduck, I think that is an absolutely stunning card. But you could see here, if you bought it anywhere between this $90 and $50 range, you've really lost a hell of a lot. Like we're back up at 60, which is nice, but realistically that is going to more than likely have a crash at some point again. So you've got to be very considerate of whether you're buying singles straight away. Normally what I do in terms of purchasing my singles for the sets, I'm at the moment going from vintage upwards, just because the sheer amount of volatility in cards is too risky to go for. If I go into Mega Evolutions and think, you know what, I'm going to buy that Mega Lucario. It's $200 at the moment, and suddenly we have the crash of all crashes and it's dropped down to 50. That's a big loss. Whereas if I'm really kind of holding off and just think, well, it could go up to 400, I'll make that a chase card. I'm more than happy to pay a little bit more months down the line where I know potentially it's got a bit of cycle in it. The whole point with a lot of these products is when it comes to sealed, people are just guessing whether it goes up. It's just that at the minute, everything's going up. It just seems to be a new set, it's very scarce, and you can normally buy it, and pretty much within a week, you've probably made something on it. Not necessarily double the value, no one's getting that lucky, but most definitely, if I get a booster box here, which is already at the value of 300, if I manage to pick that up at retail, you're not going to, but say even the retail price has gone from the 120 and it's now retail is 180 at a minimum. Realistically, I've already made money on that now. So I know there is absolutely, first day, if I'm looking to just sell, there is zero risk of me buying a Mega Evolution box for 180 and flipping it instantly. And that's the problem we're at. So until that really comes down, which, to be honest, it's going to be an interesting time to really see that happen. At the minute, it just seems to be everything is going left, right, and center, and the print and demand is just so difficult to go with at the moment. So I do think, especially in the English, in Europe, most definitely, Mega Evolution could be an interesting one because of that delay of 2 weeks. Whether that has a massive, massive impact on the market in terms of Europe in general, do we get the shipment that is destined to be for Mega Evolution, or do they block it 2 weeks to then give us even more? That's the big question that we're going to be seeing. But naturally, sealed product, if you can kind of judge to not open it and possibly even just sell it straight away, it's going to make you money. If that's all you're going for, it just is what it is. That is the part of it. So for me, I personally, if I want to open product, like I like opening a new set, I want to try and get the commons all myself. I try and get as many EXs as much as I can, and obviously megas I would love to get. But naturally, if I'm looking for illustrations, if I'm looking for SARs, I'm just going to buy them as singles. I will happily buy a few packs, an ETB, a couple of these blisters at retail, and then I'll just go singles. So it is all about when you are opening, open smartly. Yes, everybody loves opening the new set. So if you can get a few packs, brilliant. Get a few packs in. Loads of kind of LGSs, places that sell singles and commons, more than likely will give you a lot of the commons for free. That's just standard. They get so many in. It's all the hits that they're willing to sell. These common cards, rather than buying a whole booster box, an ETB, a booster bundle, these blisters, don't open crazy. Like you're just going to get absolutely nuts to try and get that one card that if you stopped opening all them product, you can go buy the single instead and almost save you money. Because the point is, if I buy £800 worth of product and I do manage to get that one gold card, say that's my best card, that's 400, say, just call it a rough price, I know it's not out in English, I've still spent over the odds of 400 and I can only get 400 back. That could go up or down. So realistically, buying that single for 400, I've got that value of 400 and I can justify, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? So in terms of opening, I would say yes. I think opening it is going to be a fantastic way. It's a brand new set, brand new megas, absolutely love it. But I wouldn't necessarily go too crazy on this set. I think it's going to be a very up and down sort of set to start with, and maybe we do start to see potentially drop-offs massively in the set at some point. Sealed in itself, I think, is always going to rise at the moment. I don't think there's really much issue of that in the very near future. Maybe in the kind of, like, if you're just holding on to Golduck and Psyduck Pud blisters, I'd say that's definitely going to be more volatile in like a year or two's time than having a sealed booster box. It's just natural. Having the amount of packs that you've got in there, especially it being sealed, is going to be more warranted. But naturally, we've seen decent sets and decent blisters, decent boxes go for a crazy amount over the booster boxes. And naturally, it's going to come down to what the stock level's really like. Now, I don't see this as the most incredible set. I think it's got some lovely SARs, but in general, I do think it's one of them sets that is just a nice starter to the era. We look all the way down, you go back to a Sword and Shield base set, you go down to a Scarlet and Violet base set. If we go latest English sets, this is where you can kind of see the trend from a normal set. Like the hype was building, but it weren't there. Like Scarlet and Violet was a rubbish set to start with. Everybody didn't like it. Now, it had some lovely singles. It weren't necessarily crazy. Like the Gardevoir trio, incredible. The Drowsy as an artwork is very nice. It's a nice spectacle, but hype has built that up. Riolu's got some nice things, but you can kind of already see there's nothing that's going too crazy. Like the Slowpoke's nice, but it's not going to make you buy a £300 booster box. It's just not going to. So that's kind of already where you're at in terms of that hype level, is making you believe cards are better than they are. If I do go into the kind of the booster boxes and everything like that with it, I've seen kind of recently we've got some stock back in Smiths for the base set. They've managed to get some base packs in there. So you can already see the print run's still going. And really, we look at the blisters. Yes, this is a very standard normal set. Mega Evolutions, they're megas. It's different. Whereas obviously with the Scarlet and Violet, very, very standard across the board. But you can kind of see if I bought that blister pack for $30, these are 23. They're kind of normal pricing on them. Now obviously if we do look at wherever the booster box is, I'm assuming it's more than likely gone up in pricing. So we're at 240, 250, and naturally that's already 100 less than what Mega Evolution's going. But you can kind of see the natural incline of it. It's always going up. Booster boxes are 99% of the chance of a good investment. Like they don't necessarily guarantee how they go up, but they more than likely do go up at some point. So that's just a standard as you go. Whereas you look a bit further back, and now we go a double era behind that, and we look at, for instance, the Sword and Shield base set. Now again, this is one that personally I didn't have that much to do with. I came in just after this into like your Rebel Clash era. I think it was Rebel Clash. I missed Darkness Ablaze. I was in a bit of Vivid Voltage. Can't say that too fast. So naturally, you're kind of away from that. So I don't really know too much about the set of what it was like in terms of hype market after. Now we obviously look at the booster box. It's expensive. And again, the set itself isn't that spent. Like, it's not crazy. You've got obviously a bit of Snorlax in here, which, when you look at the set in itself, you think of levels of illustrations we've got. The most expensive card in this set is a 61 or 72 Snorlax VMAX or Rainbow. When you look at the rest of them, I know they don't really have the illustrations. It's kind of full arts more than anything, and VMAX is. But you'd absolutely take an arm off to be able to have this level of set with the pricing being this low. It's fantastic to see. So naturally, you kind of look at that and thinking, okay, well, does that mean Mega Evolution will drop in price? Probably not yet. Like, you look at something like a Journey Together at this point. It's one of them sets that everybody got. Most people completed it. Realistically, the box, it's at $250. It's not necessarily a crazy price. So when I'm looking at booster boxes, like, you're kind of up here. This is the Mega Evolution booster box. It more than likely drops a little bit. Now, obviously, it will probably go up over time. So if you're managing to get it under what the market is saying at the moment, I'd imagine that you probably will do in a fair few years, be able to get something out of it. If Sword and Shield can go up, if Scarlet and Violet base, and they were considered the worst sets of the start because they didn't really bring that much hype into them. And you've always got to go with the time, because naturally we look at stuff like now and think, well, we're in such a hype period, everybody wants it, everybody's scalping it, wanting to sell it for more money, and that's where the price just absolutely goes crazy. And we're in an era now where illustrations are absolutely nuts. We are getting so much, like, you imagine that Sword and Shield base set versus the Mega Brave alone. Just the Mega Brave alone is absolutely crazy, like, just because of the artwork that's going into it. You've got gold cards, you've got literal in-air battling scenes. It's absolutely nuts to see that difference between having just full arts and VMAXs and having quite literally 50 artwork cards in one set. So it's always going up, and Black and White was a clear indication of that. But it's also a clear indication that not everything will be expensive. Like, you can't have 165 or whatever it was illustrations and they are all expensive. You are going to drop that price quicker and quicker as you go, because there's too many to collect. Prismatic's a perfect example. We had literally every SAR, because they had no illustrations, at $100 and above. Now look at them. They're all crazy low in comparison to that start. The hype is massive. So when it comes to opening, you've got to wait to see what happens. Especially if you're not in it for money purposes, you just want to collect cards, waiting. And I think somebody said it when I was looking at trying to collect multiple sets, a good 5 to 7 months is massive to wait for a set to see where it goes, because by that time you can see if things are going up, you can see if things are going to drop down, and you can also see where is the market in itself for Pokemon. Now we're up here, we're absolutely massive at the moment, so you don't want to jump too early and kind of almost drown in all of the hype that's around it. So I personally, when it comes to opening and buying singles, I would try and get some at retail. I'd be standing outside waiting to be able to get a couple of packs, but I wouldn't go overboard. If you can spare 100, brilliant. If you can spare 50, buy a couple of packs, buy an ETB, and be happy with that, and then look at your singles. I personally like the journey of going to either my local or a random Pokemon shop that sells singles and just having a look, seeing what you can get, and naturally going through that way. Now, in terms of an investment, really, you're going to be having to look at these as a very low end. Like, if you can get your ETBs, your blisters, all of them, and you can keep them sealed, you don't want to open them, they're always going to be fantastic at this point. Like, you look at packs in themselves, like we look at a booster pack. At the moment, like, at the minute, it's very difficult to judge where they're coming at, because they're not selling for £17, like $17 each. That is purely people are potentially like selling them on eBay or something that they've managed to get build and battle sets, or they've managed to get their hands on a very early shipment. That'll be the only thing that people want to open it like there and then. But realistically, you're looking standard. Like, I'd imagine this to come out at a $5 to $6 price range. Like most sets, you'll find them in singles. You'll more than likely find them in your local shops, but they will sell out pretty instantly, as every box has at the moment. But when it comes to the ETBs, they're always going to be fantastic. I mean, they may not go up exponentially in crazy levels, but most definitely they are going to be worth at least putting in there. Like, we look at obviously the Mega Gardevoir versus the Mega Lucario boxes. They're absolutely crazy, nice art designs on the box, and they are going to be very scarce. Now, obviously people will want them in their collection, and if they are building an ETB collection at some point, if they maybe start a year on and they need to come back to these, they're going to more than likely buy them. So they're not, sealed is just one of them that you can just almost guarantee. You wait long enough, it's bound to be up there if the hype's there. Now, if I'm buying it, for instance, at 96, might be a bit more difficult. Yes, you will eventually maybe make some money off it, but you might be waiting a lot longer than trying to get like 1 or 2 at retail if you can manage to get them in the line. But that, again, is just going to be sealed in itself. It's one of them kind of products at the moment that at the minute every play works, but holding for 5 years, that's an interesting market to kind of deal with. When we lose that hype, what is the price down going to be like? What are we going to see in that massive spike down? Is it going to lower the booster boxes below 200, 100? I doubt it goes that low, to be honest. But naturally, you will find that they will have a spike down at times, but then more than likely, as we've seen with pretty much every booster box, they tend to go over retail. So if you can get anywhere near there, you're going to do pretty all right. So I'm interested in the set. I do think it's going to be a nice one. I just would say singles are still going to be your best friend if you are a true collector of this. I personally would say whatever product you can find for retail, have at it. If obviously you want to invest in that as well and still buy the singles, again, it's the best of both worlds there. But naturally, I would be looking at singles from the gate at the minute, just because where the product lies, just don't buy it at market, especially if you're looking to invest on it. It's absolutely nuts. But let me know what you think about Mega Evolutions. Are you excited? Are you not? And to be honest, the one I'm excited for is going to be Phantasmal Flames. So we'll look at that when the set's out. Let me know down below what you think. And Inferno X is coming out on that same day. Peace.